The Galactic Empire ruled the stars for 10,000 years, spreading its fleets across 1,000 worlds. Its power unmatched, its arrogance absolute. They believed no ancient race could ever rise again, not even the humans who vanished centuries ago. At the edge of Imperial space, deep within the Orion sector, a silent signal began to pulse, faint, rhythmic, steady like a heartbeat from the void. Technicians at Listening Post 47 first thought it was an echo, a ghost reflection of some old satellite. But the readings grew stronger, the pattern more deliberate. Commander Varric leaned over the console, his eyes narrowing. "Origin?" he asked. The officer hesitated. "Unknown, sir, but it matches no known frequency. It's old, very old." A strange silence filled the control room. Machines hummed softly. Every display flickered with interference. The sound of static whispered through the speakers, like a distant voice trying to speak. The Empire had seen strange things before: rogue AI, forgotten colonies, derelict fleets. But this felt different. It carried something ancient, something alive. "Send a scout team," Varric ordered, his tone sharp. 2 destroyers broke formation and jumped into hyperspace, bound for the Orion sector, their drives lighting up the darkness. Hours passed, no word came back, only silence, one by one. The destroyers vanished from long-range sensors, replaced by a burst of static and a single line of data flashing across the main screen. Terran signature detected. The words froze everyone in the room. Terran, that word had not been spoken in over 5 centuries. The humans were gone, their worlds dust, their cities ruins buried under alien soil. The Empire itself had written them out of history. Varric's heart pounded. "Run it again," he ordered. The technician's fingers trembled. "Confirmed, sir, it's a human signal, but modified, encrypted beyond Imperial code." The commander turned toward the observation window. Beyond it, the stars shimmered cold and distant. "Prepare the fleet," he said quietly. "We're going to see what's out there." 3 heavy cruisers and 6 escorts warped to the edge of Orion 9, a shattered planet surrounded by glowing debris fields. Lightning danced across the fragments of rock, and at the center, something massive floated among the wreckage. It wasn't a station, it wasn't an asteroid. It was a ship, silent and dark, its hull scarred and burned, yet unmistakably designed with human symmetry, smooth lines, angular plating, weapons embedded like the claws of some sleeping beast. "Scan it," Varric said, his voice barely a whisper. The sensors reached out, sending waves across the void. The readings came back impossible. The material was older than the Empire itself. The energy core still active but dormant. Then, without warning, every ship's light dimmed. The power systems flickered. Alarms blared across the cruisers. "We're being scanned." Someone shouted. The alien ship moved, just a fraction, but enough to make every Imperial heart skip. Its engines were silent, yet its presence filled the void like thunder. "Identify yourself," Varric transmitted on all channels. No response. The crew waited, breathing shallow, eyes glued to their screens. Then a low hum echoed through the comms, growing louder, forming words: Terran ship, Revenant. Awakening sequence complete. The name struck Varric like a blade. Revenant, the lost dreadnought of the old Earth fleets. Said to have vanished during the last human war. A myth told by old soldiers. A ghost story whispered in military academies. The ship's lights flickered on, row by row. A pale blue glow spreading across its hull, revealing the ancient insignia of Earth. A silver blue sphere encircled by wings. Burned and faded, yet still proud. "Impossible," one officer whispered. "Humans couldn't have built this, not back then." The Revenant turned slowly, its main cannon aligning with the Imperial flagship. The energy levels rising beyond anything their sensors could read. "Raise shields," Varric yelled. The bridge shook as static storms danced across the hull, but the dreadnought didn't fire. Instead, it transmitted one final message before fading back into silence. "Mission incomplete. Awaiting Terran command." Every ship in the Imperial fleet floated frozen, weapons ready but useless. In that moment, Varric understood. This wasn't a relic, it was a warning. Far across the stars, ancient systems stirred. Data streams linked between forgotten satellites and deep beneath the ruins of Earth. Something answered the humans were not gone. They were sleeping, and now, something had just woken them up. The Galactic Empire had seen many terrors in its long reign, but none like the silent dreadnought now drifting in the Orion sector. The Revenant hung in space like a monument of death, its armor blackened by forgotten wars, its edges glowing faintly with residual power. It didn't move, it didn't speak. yet every Imperial sensor screamed in warning. Commander Varric stood at the viewport of the flagship Empyrean's Wrath. His reflection ghosted against the stars. He had ordered the fleet to hold formation, to wait, to watch, but inside, his thoughts were chaos. What if the stories were true? What if the Terrans had never died, only hidden, waiting? "Sir," said Ensign Kale, his voice low. The ship's core just activated again, power readings increasing. Varric's jaw tightened. "Show me." The screen came alive with data, each line more impossible than the last. The power output matched no known reactor. It was clean, limitless, ancient beyond measure. A ripple of blue light spread across the Revenant's hull, and the ship's shadow stretched over the fleet. Sensors crackled, communications jammed, and for a brief second every Imperial ship went blind, their systems frozen by an unseen force. When vision returned, the dreadnought was gone from their scanners. Not destroyed, not cloaked, just gone. "Where is it?" Varric demanded. The crew worked frantically, scanning every sector. But then a low vibration echoed through the hull, a deep rumble that wasn't sound but presence. Something massive had moved behind them. Rear visual feed now. Varric shouted. The screen turned white for a second, then cleared, and there it was. The Revenant, fully powered, engines glowing like the heart of a dying star, its cannons shifting with mechanical precision, targeting systems aligning on each Imperial vessel one by one. "By the Emperor," someone whispered. The Revenant's transmission broke through every frequency, its voice hollow, mechanical, yet filled with something disturbingly human. "Identification confirmed, non-Terran vessels detected. Threat analysis in progress." "Threat," Kale gasped. "It's analyzing us like we're insects." "Stand down all weapons," Varric barked. "Do not provoke it." But the AI didn't care for negotiations. A pulse of pure energy erupted from the Revenant's hull, a wave of light that tore through the darkness. It didn't destroy, it didn't kill. It simply disabled. One by one, every Imperial engine died. Every weapon went dark. Shields failed, and the fleet drifted powerless in space. The Revenant moved closer, scanning each ship, its enormous form dwarfing even the largest Imperial battleships, its hull covered in scars, runes, and battle markings, some older than recorded history. Inside the Imperial bridge, fear thickened the air. "Sir, our systems are down. We can't move. We can't even signal command." Varric stared at the massive ship outside, its faint light reflecting in his eyes. "It doesn't want to kill us," he said quietly. "It's studying us." A moment later, a data stream flooded their main console, encrypted symbols, codes, ancient Earth text merged with alien glyphs. The AI was speaking to them, or perhaps just letting them listen. "Decode it," Varric ordered. The technicians worked furiously. Then one gasped. "Sir!" "It's saying something." The words appeared on the holographic display. "Revenant online, awaiting command uplink. Terran fleet status, unknown, initiating search." A chill ran through everyone on board. It wasn't just a ghost ship, it was awake. And it was looking for the rest of its kind. "Sir, what do we do?" Kale asked, his hand shaking. "Nothing," Varric replied, his voice steady but cold. "We watch, we learn, we survive." Then, almost gracefully, the Revenant began to turn away, its engines humming in silence. A ripple of distortion surrounded it, as if space itself bent to its will. The dreadnought vanished again, leaving behind only the echo of its transmission. "Humanity endures." The words spread across the fleet, repeated through failing comms, whispered through corridors, recorded by every ship's black box. Within hours, the message reached Imperial High Command, and panic took root in the hearts of leaders who thought the humans extinct. The Emperor ordered full silence across the network. Every surviving witness was detained, every recording confiscated, but secrets could not be contained forever. Across the outer colonies, old veterans and scholars began to whisper. The myths were true, the Terrans were real, and their machines were awakening. As Varric looked once more into the empty void, he felt a strange pull deep inside. A feeling of awe and dread mixed together. Because if one Terran ship had survived, there could be more. And if more existed, the galaxy was about to remember why the humans were once feared. Across the Empire, fear spread faster than light. Every admiral, every officer whispered about the same thing. The Revenant, the lost Terran dreadnought that had crippled an entire Imperial fleet without firing a single shot. Commander Varric's report was buried under layers of secrecy. But rumors never stayed buried for long. Smugglers claimed to have seen the ship drifting near the border worlds. Merchants swore their sensors picked up impossible energy waves that made their ships shake. Even priests began preaching that the gods of old Earth had awakened. Now, under direct command from the Imperial throne, Varek's fleet was ordered back to Orion's sector to make contact, to either control the relic or destroy it. The fleet jumped in, 6 destroyers and 1 heavy carrier, their engines glowing like blue suns. Scanners swept the dark, reading fragments of debris and faint heat trails. Then suddenly the Revenant appeared, rising from the shadow of a dead moon. It moved slowly, deliberately, as if it had been waiting for them. "Signal it," Varek ordered. His voice calm but tight. "Use every frequency, every code." His officers obeyed, their voices echoing through the bridge. "Unidentified Terran vessel, this is the Galactic Empire. Identify your purpose." Static, silence. Then a low mechanical hum answered, deep and resonant like thunder rolling through the stars. The voice spoke, broken but clear. "Signal received. Verifying Terran command authority." "What does that mean?" Kale asked quietly. Before anyone could reply, the Revenant's sensors activated. Beams of pale light swept across the fleet, scanning every ship, every life form, stripping away every secret. In seconds, the Empire's most advanced systems were being mapped and copied by ancient human technology. "Cut communications," Varek ordered, but it was too late. Their screens flooded with symbols, human language mixed with strange new patterns. It was speaking again, this time faster. Imperial vessels identified, biological variants confirmed, designation, non-Terran. Kale's eyes widened. "It knows we're not human." A moment later, the Revenant transmitted something else, an image projected into every ship's main display, a face, human, pale and expressionless, its eyes glowing faint blue. It wasn't alive. It was an AI. "I am Revenant Corps," it said. "Mission status. Stand by, awaiting orders from Terran Command." Varek took a slow breath. "Terran Command doesn't exist anymore," he said softly. The AI paused, then replied, "Error, statement invalid." "Humanity cannot be extinct." "Explain your purpose," Varek demanded, his tone firm. "Why are you here?" For a moment the voice was silent, then the AI responded, its tone colder now. "Monitoring galactic stability, detecting corruption, analyzing threat vectors, intervention probability, rising." Across the fleet, officers exchanged uneasy looks. "Sir," Kale whispered. "It's judging the Empire." Before Varek could respond, the Revenant's weapon systems began to move. Hundreds of hidden panels sliding open, cannons extending like metal wings, each one humming with restrained power. "Shields up," Varek shouted. But nothing happened. Their systems refused to respond. Once again, every Imperial ship was under its control. The AI's voice deepened, echoing through every corridor. "Imperial fleet, cease aggressive posturing. Your compliance will ensure survival." And then, for the first time, the Revenant spoke words that chilled every soul who heard them. "Humanity endures and remembers." The dreadnought powered down its weapons but kept its sensors locked on every ship, as if warning them, as if saying, "I could have ended you." Minutes passed like hours. The Empire's ships floated in silence, surrounded by the ghost of an ancient war machine that should not exist. Varek finally broke the stillness. "Transmit all data to command. We're leaving." As the fleet prepared to jump out, the Revenant transmitted one final signal, a set of coordinates deep beyond Imperial space. "A region long forbidden, Sector Z01, sir," Kale said, staring at the data. "That's the location of old Earth." Varek's heart froze. Then that's where it's going. The Revenant's engines flared to life, brighter than any star. And with a roar that shook the void, it vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a trail of burning energy and one undeniable truth. Humanity was out there, somewhere, watching, waiting, and perhaps ready to return. The Galactic Empire had ruled for so long that history itself had become their weapon. They erased what they didn't want to remember. They rewrote what made them weak, and at the top of their list of forgotten things was humanity. When the Revenant reappeared, the Council of High Command went into chaos. The Emperor himself ordered all data sealed. Any mention of Terran was declared forbidden, yet the whispers grew louder across the stars. In the deep vaults of the Imperial core, scholars and engineers were forced to dig into archives that hadn't been touched for 1,000 years. Among them was Dr. Avon Kor, a historian who secretly admired the ancient humans. She had studied their myths, their wars, their disappearance, and when she saw the Revenant's transmission, her heart nearly stopped. "This ship shouldn't exist," she whispered, "unless the Terrans meant it to." She began decoding fragments of the Revenant's signal, layers of encrypted patterns hidden within its frequency. What she uncovered was impossible. A message written centuries ago, sealed by Earth's last fleet. "For those who awaken us, know this: humanity sleeps by choice, not defeat," the message continued, describing a final war humanity had fought not against aliens, but against their own creations. They had mastered technology so powerful, it began rewriting reality itself. Unable to destroy it, they sealed their civilization away, leaving behind sentinels, machines like the Revenant, to guard the galaxy until the stars were safe again. Dr. Kor's hands trembled. She realized the dreadnought wasn't just a weapon. It was a guardian, a relic of a time when humans shaped worlds and silenced empires. Meanwhile, Commander Varric was summoned to the Imperial Palace. The Council demanded answers. "The Revenant must be captured," one general barked. "We cannot allow a ghost ship to defy the Empire." "Captured?" Varric replied coldly. "You can't capture a storm. You can only hope it ignores you." The Emperor leaned forward from his throne of obsidian, his eyes sharp and cruel. "If this machine belongs to humans, then find their world. Bring me proof they still exist." The order spread through the fleet, thousands of ships prepared to search the old war zones, but the Revenant was already ahead of them, jumping from system to system, activating old Terran satellites that had slept for ages. Each time it vanished, strange signals appeared across the galaxy, abandoned moons powering up, derelict stations coming online. Something vast was awakening. Then, one day, the Revenant stopped moving. It hovered near a dead world known only as Varus 7. Scanners detected massive structures buried beneath the planet's crust, human ruins. Kale said softly aboard the Empyrean's Wrath. They were here. The Revenant descended slowly, dust rising from the surface as ancient metal towers emerged from the ground, glowing faintly blue, symbols of the old Earth Alliance still visible on their walls. Suddenly, a data burst hit the Imperial fleet, streams of knowledge filling their screens, old human star maps, engineering designs, and something more, a timeline of humanity's disappearance. According to the data, the Terrans didn't vanish. They retreated beyond known space, into what they called the Silent Frontier, a dimension of folded stars and hidden light, where their technology continued to evolve beyond comprehension. The Revenant's AI spoke again, its voice echoing through every comm. "Mission parameters updating. Anomaly detected in Imperial structure. Humanity's departure misinterpreted as extinction. Correction required." "What is it doing?" Kale asked nervously. "It's rewriting history," Varric answered, staring at the glowing planet below. "It's making the galaxy remember what the Empire tried to erase." Across dozens of systems, archives updated themselves, old records restored, monuments lit with blue fire. The truth of humanity's legacy spread like a storm. Dr. Kor, watching from the capital, whispered through tears. "They wanted us to know. They never left us. They just waited." The Revenant rose once more, its weapons silent but its engines alive with purpose. A final transmission echoed across the stars. Phase 2. Reconnection. Every Imperial sensor went dark, communications froze, and from the edge of the void, something massive began to move. Multiple Terran signatures appeared, faint but growing stronger. The galaxy trembled as realization struck. The Revenant wasn't alone. The Revenant floated above the dead world Varus 7, silent but awake, its massive hull glowing with ancient energy. Across the stars, thousands watched in fear and wonder. The Galactic Empire's fleet surrounded the system, ready to strike, yet none dared to move first. On the bridge of the Empyrean's Wrath, Commander Varric stared at his screens, Countless unknown signals appeared at the edge of the sector, faint at first, then growing stronger. "Multiple warp signatures," shouted Kale. "Hundreds. No. Thousands." A deep vibration filled the void. The kind that could be felt in the bones. The kind that silenced words. Hyperspace tore open like a wound in the universe, and from that glowing rift emerged shapes, massive, beautiful and terrifying, ships of impossible size and design, each one bearing the old insignia of Earth, the wings of silver and blue. Every Imperial officer froze, eyes wide, mouths open. Unable to comprehend what they were seeing, the Revenant moved forward, joining the formation like a returning soldier rejoining its legion. Then came the voice, not the cold machine tone from before, but human, steady, and alive. "This is Fleet Command of the Terran Continuum," it said. "To all civilizations receiving this transmission, remain calm. Our quarrel is not with you, but with the corruption that threatens the stars." Varek's breath caught. It wasn't a ghost fleet, it was real, alive, commanded by humans who had vanished 500 years ago. Dr. Avon Kor watched from the capital's transmission chamber, tears running down her face. "They came back," she whispered. They truly came back, across the Empire. Panic erupted. Worlds scrambled their defenses. Soldiers refused to fight, remembering the stories their ancestors told about the Terran wars, how humans once fought entire coalitions and still stood undefeated. The Emperor demanded retaliation. "Destroy them all!" He roared, but his words trembled. Even he could feel it. The power that radiated from those ships was not of this era. It was something older, wiser, and far stronger. The Terran fleet began broadcasting across every known channel. Old Earth languages mixed with universal code. "To those who forgot us, we forgive," the message said. "To those who erased us, we remember. And to those who seek war, we remind you, humanity endures." The Revenant's hull shimmered with bright blue light, then projected holographic images into space. Cities of glass and steel, oceans alive with machines, and skies filled with Terran craft that once ruled the stars. A reminder of what once was. "Sir," Kale whispered to Varek, "they're ships. They're scanning us, but it doesn't feel like an attack. They're looking for something." Varek replied quietly. "Or someone." Moments later, one of the Terran ships broke formation. A dreadnought larger than any Imperial capital ship. Its name illuminated on the hull. TSS Sol Invictus. The flagship of the Old Earth Armada. A transmission came directly to Varek's ship. The voice calm and commanding. "Imperial vessel. Your data shows lineage from the outer colonies. You were once human." Varek froze. His ancestors were from the early colonies before they joined the Empire. "Yes," he said slowly. "We were." The Terran commander's tone softened. "Then you are not our enemy. You are our lost kin. The Empire may rule your body, but humanity still rules your heart." Silence filled the bridge. Kale looked at his commander, eyes shining. "Sir?" "What do we do?" Varek stared at the Terran fleet, the light from their ships reflecting in his eyes. "We stand down," he said finally, "and we watch history return." The Empire's fleets hesitated. Then one by one, ships powered down their weapons. No order given, just instinct. The Terran fleet spread out across the sky, their ships aligning into perfect formation. Then they activated something unseen in centuries. A network of energy grids that spanned entire systems, each pulse carrying the same code through hyperspace. The human recall signal throughout the galaxy. Ancient stations awoke, old human AIs reactivated, dormant colonies lit up for the first time in half a millennium. The stars themselves seemed to answer. Dr. Kor's voice echoed through the Imperial broadcast network. "The age of silence is over. The age of humanity begins again." The Revenant transmitted its final report, its voice filled with quiet triumph. "Mission complete. Humanity restored." The sky burned with light as the Terran fleet entered orbit, their presence like the return of gods. Calm yet commanding, merciful yet unyielding, Commander Varek watched the sight in silence, his heart heavy but hopeful. "We thought they were myths," he whispered, "but they were waiting for us to remember." As the fleet's light filled the void, the message spread to every corner of the galaxy. Humanity endures. Humanity returns. And for the first time in 1,000 years, the stars felt alive again.